What's up, everybody? It's Mac from MacTheMovieGuy.com, and today I'm going to be reviewing the 355. For those of you new to the channel, I am a blind film critic, so don't change that channel. I promise I'm still going to be reviewing the film, and not from a weird perspective or anything like that, but I will be talking about something called audio description and not things like cars blowing up. So if you like people who talk about blowing up cars, then, I'm sure there's a channel for that, and also probably a psychiatric institution to help you. But today we're going to be talking about the 355, which is, I'm just grateful that I was able to see it, because previously with Peacock, I have not been able to watch their titles because their application has not supported me being able to choose audio description at any time until now. As long as I've had the service, I've actually been watching everything on the service without audio description. I haven't had it for very long. I honestly, I caved because of Saved by the Bell. I really just wanted to watch Saved by the Bell. And I started with Saved by the Bell, and I got into a few other things like Girls 5 Eva and Rutherford Falls and some other shows that I was able to follow pretty well without audio description. But I don't watch a whole lot on Peacock. And now, once I turned it on, it's on for everything. So I was like halfway through Bel Air, and then suddenly audio description pops up, and I'm like, cool, all right, let's do this. So I was able to watch the 355, which is a movie that definitely needs audio description because of the action sequences in it. Got to be able to know who's punching who, a movie with a whole bunch of people going, that's not necessarily as intriguing as it may feel like to you. But once you know who's getting hit, then it's like, oh, okay, yeah, beat his ass. Yeah, okay. I'm going to try to keep this review slightly spoiler-free, but I would say that there's a plot twist in the beginning that is the catalyst sort of for the rest of the movie that is not in the trailer, that it's really hard to talk about the rest of the film without talking about the catalyst for the trailer. Catalyst that's not in the trailer that is the rest of the film. So this film basically takes an American spy and her partner. Jessica Chastain is the protagonist, the lead character of the film, because even in a film filled with diversity, we still have to have the white American actress in the lead role. Yay for diversity. And so she goes to retrieve something with her partner that she is way too close to, and things go awry. They're supposed to be making a swap, and someone else comes in and tries to, and it messes up the whole thing, and the swap is not made, and Nick, her partner, ends up dead. So she's lost her partner, so she goes home, and she's pulled off the case. She's not allowed to avenge her partner's death officially, according to her boss, but her boss, turns off the security camera and is like, no, listen, if you want to go out there on your own, I can't stop you. So she's like, oh, so you want me to do it, but you can't say I can do it. So unofficially, she goes off to complete this mission and avenge her partner. And along the way, she picks up these other women from these other spy agencies who are all after this one thing that the bad guys want, which is, yes, I can't tell you what movie I've seen this in, but I've so totally seen this plot device before. It's one of those God chip things where it's some device that can create havoc no matter where it is, just anything. There's a scene in the film where they use it to test out, and a bunch of planes crash. They're able to make 6 planes crash out of nowhere, and that's just what this chip does. It just does that kind of thing, and it's on a flash drive, basically. So and it's going to be sold to the highest bidder. and Chastain has to stop it. But first, her and these other girls that all seem to want and have the same goal to achieve, all have to get together to join forces and stop fighting each other, realizing they have this common goal so that they can stop this thing from occurring. There's some twists along the way, and anything else would be actually really spoilery at that point. Although I have a feeling you will pick up on the twists. This film is not as smart as it thinks it is. I could discuss that. I probably won't. I think anybody who's seen the 355, I just have faith in you that the big twists y'all saw coming. I'm just not gonna openly reveal that to anybody who didn't. To the 5% of you who legitimately your jaw drops, good. I'm happy for you. To the rest of us, I'm sure we rolled our eyes like, yup, saw that coming. And that's the problem with the 355, is it never really truly knows what it wants to be. And it's not a terrible film. You can't put together a cast like this really and make it a terrible film unless you're trying. Like, you got Jessica Chastain, Lupita Nyong'o, and Penelope Cruz, all who are Academy Award-winning actresses. Now, I can say that about Jessica Chastain now. That's 3 Oscar winners. Of the 5 main females, the other 2 are Bing Bing Fan and Diane Kruger. So you can't really, if you just let them read dialogue, you're gonna get a pretty okay movie. But the structure around it is a bit messy. It's a bit obvious. And I will say that there is a point, and I would call this like a slightly more than mild spoiler, but not really. There's a point where they do actually gain possession of the chip, of the drive, and the movie's not over, and they're holding on to the drive, and I'm like, why have you not destroyed this thing? Oh, because the movie's not over. Because the movie needs you to not destroy it. Because any reasonably sane person would grab the flash drive, drop it into a vat of acid, or stomp on it, or something. Run over it with their car, but instead you have it just in your possession. That's the kind of thing that it's like, it's bad writing, because it kind of just sends a message that there is still shit to come. Things will still be happening in this film, this film is not over. Because otherwise, if they all agree that this thing is dangerous, why wouldn't they destroy it? It's not like it's a bomb that they have to be careful about destroying. It's just a drive. Just break it. But do what they did in Mr. Robot and just put it in a microwave. So that's where the film goes with these kind of choices and these decisions. It's not a smart film. It just has good actresses in it, which is what makes it entertaining. Penelope Cruz especially has some really great moments in the film. And Jessica Chastain is terrific in the lead in a film I didn't think she would be good in. I don't necessarily see Jessica Chastain as an action star. Lupita Nyong'o is incredibly awesome in her role. Diane Kruger is incredibly awesome in her role. Bing Bing Fan is incredibly awesome in her role. These girls are great. The awkwardness of explaining the 355 to the audience comes at the end of the film, and it feels so forced. It feels it's one of the endings that I hate to a film. Like, I remember watching The Power of the Dog, and right at the end of the film, when he's reading the book, and it's like The Power of the Dog, and then like the film ends, and I'm like, no, you don't get to have a really random bullshit title and then just throw it in at the end and explain it. Like, you don't just get to wait till the end of the film to come up with some, like, just out in left field title and then try to tie it in when it wouldn't make sense throughout the rest of the film. So the title is not addressed until the very end, why the film is called The 355. And then when it is addressed, it's in like the dumbest way. They're like, hey, you remember that story? And it's kind of like how Cody McPhee in The Power of the Dog just opens up a book and he's like, The Power of the Dog. And it's like, no, stop doing that. If you can't work it into the film, don't just like rush it in at the end so that people are like, ooh, that's why the film is called that way. Not every single film needs to have the title within the film. I don't actually remember anybody in Nomadland going, welcome to Nomadland. Like, it doesn't have to be in every single film. You don't have to do it. You can just leave it. Audio description. The audio description in this is good. It's fine. There's some times where it's kind of funny because, and I understand that we're trying to like line up the track, right? So we're trying to make sure that everything happens in the lulls, the quiet moments, which can sometimes be frustrating and sometimes be hilarious. And sometimes if you really don't time it correctly, it's even more hilarious. So there was a time in the film, can't tell you more about it, but let's just say there's a time in the film where somebody is supposed to burst through a window. We don't know it. It's supposed to be a surprise. Now, for us blind audience folk, we're told this in advance of the person breaking through the glass. A decent bit too. Like there's a beat. There's like a man breaks through the glass. It's like, it's not even like there's actually like a pause. Like they didn't even put it like right. There's no overlap at all. There's actually even a beat where you're like, does he? Oh, okay, there he is. Okay, so yeah, it's and I was like, so there's a surprise coming, and I was thinking about like, can you imagine like in movies where those kind of surprises matter if we heard about them before they actually happened, like characters getting stabbed in horror movies or something like that, or major character deaths in films, so-and-so gets shot in the head. Wait a minute, he's fine. Oh my God. Like, there it is. So it's just funny that we get stuff like that in the audio description. I know it's so that we understand what's happening, but at the same time, I feel like there's got to be a better way to like overlap it. You have to realize that what you're describing is supposed to be a surprise. So if you do it too much in advance, the surprise is lost because then you're anticipating this thing that we were just told is about to happen, and we know it's happening because it was in the audio description. So it's not like we thought the audio description was lying to us, like somebody. And I don't expect the other kind of audio description that says at some point someone will be breaking through a window. I don't need it to be more vague like that, but it's tough, man. I don't envy audio description writers and those who edit the tracks and put them into films. I think maybe, I know you don't want to mess with the sound design of a film, but at the same time, sometimes when you reveal something too far in advance, then we lose the surprise of the intended thing, and the film is the art form itself. But then is the sound design part of that art form? It's weighing out each scene. When do you put a line like that? And I think when it's a surprise, which is what that was supposed to be, was like an out of nowhere moment. I would not have put the audio description before the event. I would have tried to put the audio description maybe starting just before and then run it as it's happening. So that way we know what's happening. I understand that that creates sort of a noisy thing, but I've seen it happen. The Adam Project had a lot of dialogue happening during intense fight sequences, where also the Adam Project decided to have the score swelling and getting really loud. So like sound was fighting sound, and I was able to understand the audio description, and that was stuff that wasn't even nearly as surprising or pertinent. So just something to think about. Otherwise, this film is not nearly as action oriented as it claims to be. So if you're somebody who has avoided this film because you think it's an action film and you're not going to understand the fight sequences, there are a few, but mostly this is like a spy thriller. It's an espionage where you're just supposed to pick up on clues and follow the mystery. So just approach it that way. Don't approach it from this is, a Jean-Claude Van Damme, Jason Statham, constant, nonstop action film. It's not that. So the 355, Simon Kinberg is not a great director. This film uses a plot device that is overdone, and I've seen this before. It has a talented cast. The audio description is okay, if not a little bit ahead of its time in some of the interactions. I didn't have a terrible time with this, but also it's hard to recommend. So I'm going to throw this right in the middle of a do with it as you see fit, and I'm going to give it a C. That's sort of what I consider my middle rating. I'm neither recommending nor not recommending this film. I'm saying go with your gut on this one. If you think the 355 is your thing, then maybe it is. If you don't think it's your thing, that's totally fair too. There are things here to like. Most of them have to do with the performances. And there are things here not to like, which largely have to do with the plot and the direction. So it's a mixed bag. That's the 355. So tell me what you think about the 355 in the comments. Did you like it? Was it entertaining? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe, and check out macthemovieguy.com for more of me and my shenanigans. And don't forget to check out the audio description project and plan your movie night, or find out what TV shows have audio description. You can do all that over at the audio description project, and that's what they do, is they tell you what's got audio description. So, until next time, we are the 355.